and let us all do we can to build a better future. Can learn from. And that is, if you're with the Justice Democrats, brand new Congress, our revolution, DSA, the Democratic Party cannot be changed. All right? I've said this before on the show, and I'll say it again. Imagine the Democratic Party being a bear. If the bear eats you, you will not change it from within. The bear will just crap you out. Now, I don't know if AOC and the rest of the squad have learned that lesson or not, but they seem to be quite angry and upset at the Biden-Harris administration, an administration that they gave outstanding applause and praise for. And two representatives who are part of the squad, the Justice Democrats, are being bullied and censored. One is being censored for real by 22 of her colleagues, and that is Representative Rashida Tlaib, due to her criticism of Israel following the war that broke out on October 7th. And when you have people like MTG, Marjorie Taylor Greene, MTG, you know me, calling for her immediate removal and censure, all I can do is just point back at MTG is, well, gee, that's what the Democrats do to you. I guess you're doing that right back to the Democrats. Hypocrisy much. Hypocrisy across the board. Censor, censor, censor. Silence, silence, silence. How dare there be a dissent or hypocrisy by our elected officials? And let this be a lesson to Representative Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar and AOC and everyone else that's part of the Congressional Progressive Caucus. Maybe this is the smack upside the head that will wake you up for the fact that the Democratic Party doesn't care about progressive policy issues. They don't care about the social issues. Now, then again, I could be wrong. You know, obviously, we'll probably see how the election of 2024 plays out. I will be shocked if Rashida Tlaib ever comes out and says, I'm not going to support Biden. I won't vote for Biden. I mean, that'll take a lot of courage, but I don't think any Democrat will do it. So let's go ahead and pull up this article here, just so all of you can see it firsthand. And I'll be playing some videos of Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib speaking before Congress, and they have every right to speak and share their perspective or point of view. However, this is what happens when you tie yourself to the Democratic Party. As soon as you don't fall in line, they are going to kick you out. They are going to ostracize you. Bernie Sanders learned that lesson, and now he's their greatest of sheepdogs. 22 Democrats vote to censure Tlaib over Israel criticism. So the resolution sponsored by Representative Rich McCormick accused Tlaib of promoting false narratives regarding the October 7th, 2023 Hamas attack on Israel and for calling for the destruction of the state of Israel. No, she did not. It also refers to her use over the weekend of the controversial phrase, from the river to the sea. Next thing you know, they're going to be canceling and censoring the phrase from the window to the wall, which is considered by many to be anti-Semitic. Don't tell the most diehard congressmen and women who take money from Israel and Israeli lobby groups, etc., that Palestinians are Semitic too. Democratic leadership earlier in the day urged members to vote for a motion to kill the censure resolution, and the party largely stuck together, with only one Democrat voting to advance it. Many defended Tlaib's right to make the controversial comments, citing the First Amendment, despite disagreeing with her words. Again, the First Amendment, so fundamentally important. We have to preserve it and protect it. All right? That we have to preserve and protect it. I'm sorry, I stuttered. I need to have a cup of tea to, make sure I can enunciate words properly. We have to preserve and protect the First Amendment. Third time's a charm, and I hope it stays with you. I truly hope it does. But on the final vote, 22 of Rashida Tlaib's colleagues opted to reprimand her. We are at the exceedingly perilous moment when emotions and intentions are on a razor's edge. I believe that members of Congress should be free to express their opinions, no matter how distasteful they may be. I also believe they have a duty to express the values and priorities of their districts, said Representative Brad Schneider, Democrat from Illinois, said of his vote to censure Tlaib. I see how it is. So let's talk about Rashida Tlaib's response. Let's play this video.
I'm the only Palestinian American serving in Congress, Mr. Chair, and my perspective is needed here now more than ever. I will not be silenced, and I will not let you distort my words. Folks forget I'm from the city of Detroit, the most beautiful, blackest city in the country, where I learned to speak truth to power even if my voice shakes. Trying to bully or censor me won't work because
Now, I don't mean to pull out the Uno reverse card, but I remember when members of Congress, especially those part of the Congressional Progressive Caucus, sought to censor and silence Republicans for their criticism. Now, again, I don't know how authentic many of those Republican politicians were in regards to the war in Ukraine, or how people like AOC were quick to say that deplatforming works when Tucker Carlson was kicked off of Fox News. Remember that? Remember that? I do. So does Petrit Farm. Or how other members like AOC, or other progressive lawmakers went on a warpath to call for the censorship and silence of people like Joe Rogan or Jimmy Dore, Russell Brand. You know, I remember the pushback a lot of them gave towards force to vote. I remember that. And I have to say, what's happening to them, I'm against it too. I don't like that Rashida Tlaib is being censored because she practiced her First Amendment right. But this is what happens when you're part of the Democratic establishment, and also when you don't live by true words of respecting other people's opinions. And it always comes back to haunt you. Always does.
this movement for a ceasefire is much bigger than one person. It's growing every single day. There are millions of people across our country who oppose Netanyahu's extremism.
Oh, one other thing here, too. You know, she's talking about ceasefire, which I agree. Hey, there should be immediate ceasefire. What, 8,000 to 10,000, and that number's rising up of dead people in Gaza? Yeah, ceasefire. Oh, yeah. Remember how Democrats responded if people were calling for a peace treaty or, you know, ceasefire between Russia and Ukraine? Remember that? Boy, oh boy, did they do a roundhouse kick to anyone's face if they said that. I remember that. Hey, let's have democracy in the chat. Do you think these Democratic lawmakers actually really give a damn about a ceasefire? Type 1 for yes, Kit, they do. In this one case, maybe you're being a little bit too harsh. They do. I type 2, no, they don't. They're politicians. They're hypocrites to the core. You know this. I wonder how many 2s will get in the chat. I wonder.
And are done watching our government support collective punishment and the use of white phosphorus bombs that melt flesh to the bone. They are done watching our government, Mr. Chair, supporting cutting off food, water, electricity, and medical care to millions of people with nowhere to go. Like me, Mr. Chair, they don't believe the answer to war crimes is more war crimes. The refusal of Congress and the administration.
No, she mentioned white phosphorus. Is she going to mention the cluster bombs that were sent to Ukraine? Yep, probably not. Probably not.
To acknowledge Palestinian lives is chipping away at my soul. Over 10,000 Palestinians have been killed. Majority were children. But let me be clear. My criticism has always been of the Israeli government and Netanyahu's actions. It is important to separate people and governments, Mr. Chair. No government is beyond criticism. The idea that criticizing the government of Israel is anti-Semitic sets a very dangerous precedent, and it's being used to silence diverse voices speaking up for human rights across our nation. Do you realize what it's like, Mr. Chair, for the people outside the chamber right now, listening in agony to their own government dehumanizing them? To hear the President of the United States, we helped elect, dispute death tolls as we see video after video of.
Never forget that AOC said that Biden is exceeding expectations. Never forget that Bernie said that he was his good friend, Biden and Bernie. Yeah, remember Bernie? You said that's your good friend, your pal. And don't forget that AOC and Bernie were super fast and quick to immediately endorse Joe Biden for 2024. Now, all these Democrats, somewhere down the road, as the election year of 2024 will take place. Hey, we're in the merry month of November. Then comes December. And hey, goodness gracious, we made it. It's 2024. Let the nightmare begin. How many of these politicians do you think, especially people like Rashida Tlaib or Ilhan Omar or anybody else that's up there, are going to tell you, hey, you got to vote Biden because Donald Trump is running for office again. We got to be afraid. We got to cry in the corner and hold each other tight.
Of dead children and parents under rubble. Mr. Chair, do you know what it's like to fear rising hate crimes, to know how Islamophobia and anti-Semitism makes us all less safe, and worry that your own child might suffer the horrors that 6-year-old Wadia did in Illinois. I can't believe I have to say this, but Palestinian people are not disposable. We are human beings, just like anyone else. My city, my grandmother, like all Palestinians, just wants to live her life with freedom and human dignity we all deserve. Speaking up to save lives, Mr. Chair, no matter faith, no matter ethnicity, should not be controversial in this chamber. The cries of the Palestinian and Israeli children sound no different to me. Why? What I don't understand is why the cries of Palestinians sound different to you all. We cannot lose our shared humanity, Mr. Chair. I hear the voices of advocates in Israel, in Palestine, across America, and around the world for peace. I am inspired by the courageous survivors in Israel who have lost loved ones, yet are calling for a ceasefire and the end to violence. I am grateful to the people in the streets for the peace movement, with countless Jewish Americans across the country standing up and lovingly saying, "Not in our name." We will continue to call for a ceasefire, Mr. Chair, for the immediate delivery of critical humanitarian aid to Gaza, for the release of all hostages and those arbitrarily detained, and for every American to come home. We will continue to work for a real lasting peace that upholds human rights and dignity of all people, and centers in peaceful coexistence between Israelis and Palestinians, and censures no one, and ensures that no person, no child has to suffer or live in fear of violence. 71% of Michigan Democrats support a ceasefire. So you can try to censure me, but you can't silence their voices. I urge my colleagues to join with the majority of Americans and support a ceasefire now to save as many lives as possible. President Biden must listen to and represent all of us.
But he won't. He won't. And I just want to pull this up here. Just want to go back in time here for a second. Just want to go back in time here for a second. We're going to go back to the year of 2021. Not the best year for me. Yeah, September. Yeah, 2021. Not a good year. Not a good year, just like 2013. Not a good year for me as well. But I just want to rewind back the clock just a little bit to this year. And I hope that we all see it. 9 members voted against the Israel Iron Dome funding as Tlaib accused of anti-Semitism. Representative Rashida Tlaib, your words before Congress are words that I do agree with. I do hope that there is a ceasefire. God willing, that happens. I hope so.
Israel scores its money for Iron Dome.
But your own party,
House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer, says
420
Iron Dome funding comes in a standalone bill later this week.
Sorry about that. 420 voted for the Iron Dome. 9 Democrats voted against it. And you wouldn't believe who voted present. So look, let's look at the names here. We got Omar, we got Carson, we got Tlaib, we got Newman, we got Presley, we got Gajava, we got Garcia, we got Bush, and 1 Republican, Massey. Only that one guy. Take a wild guess how AOC voted. Present. Isn't that special? And already, along with Republican politicians, let's look at the list of Democratic lawmakers that decided to censor her. These are the Democrats that voted in favor of that resolution that I talked earlier. Representative Steve Cohen, Representative Costa, Representative Craig, Representative Davis, Representative Frankel. Hey, Representative Golden. We got Representative Golden and Goldman. Hey, there you go. We got Representative Gottenheimer. We got Representative Landsman. We got Representative Lee. We got Representative Manning. We got Representative Moskowitz. We got Representative Nickel. We got Representative Papas. There you go. Let's see. We got Representative Marie Gluskav Perez. We got Representative Ryan. Representative Schneider. Representative Scheer, Representative Soto, Representative Torres. Hold on, Representative Wilson, and I skipped over this one. Best for last. Representative Jesse Wasserman Schultz. Wow. I want to play one last video here.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It is glaring hypocrisy when you have Republicans on the other side of the aisle trying to create definitions and say Rashida wants to annihilate people, when Max Miller himself went on TV and said we're turning Gaza into a parking lot and we want to annihilate Palestinians. Nobody condemned him on that side of the aisle. What is true here is that every single one of them has not acknowledged the fact that Palestinians are dying in the tens of thousands, but will continue to say it is us who are not acknowledging humanity. Rashida will stand strong.
Gentlelady's time has expired.
The movement will continue for liberation until every single
Gentlelady's time has
Palestinian
expired.
has the right to
Gentleman
live
from
in
Maryland
liberty.
is recognized.
Passionate words. However, I am mentally preparing myself for 2024 and seeing the Congressional Progressive Caucus go all in for Biden. And if it's not going to be Biden, it'll be somebody part of the Democratic establishment, because don't worry, all these wars, all these political situations, the inflation is going to be cast aside because the orange boogeyman is somewhere in the corner, somewhere underneath the bed, hiding in the closet. You don't have to worry about Kathleen Kennedy hiding under your bed. Oh no, the Democrats got a whole new boogeyman. It's called Trump. And I'm preparing myself to see these politicians say, hey, we got to support Biden. The same Joe Biden who's dismissing calls for a ceasefire between Israel and Palestine. Same Joe Biden who dismissed any kind of need for diplomacy or peace talks between Russia and Ukraine. Don't worry. I'm preparing for that. I don't agree with the censorship that's happening towards Rashida Tlaib, but my goodness, I'd like to see some consistency with our politicians. Jimmy Dore was right. Don't waste your time with the Democratic Party. Misty Wiston's absolutely correct. Electoral politics, not the way to go. We got to break away from the system. We got to do something different, because what's working in D.C. is not working at all. In order to build a better future, we have to be willing to take that initiative step for the arduous march for true representation, and that is through citizen ballot initiatives, creating movements and organizations not connected to Washington, D.C., and abolishing political parties and getting money out of politics and ending this ridiculous system before it's too late.